time to realize a teenage dream. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at the Toshiba KT4046 personal cassette player. You could say a Walkman, but that's strictly not true. Only Sony's make Walkmans. But this is from 1986, and it's really quite a machine. And I'd forgotten about these insofar as when I was about 15 years old, local TV and video shop actually had one of these in for sale, and it was in the front window, and I took one look at it and I just wanted it. It just looked amazing, and I was just transfixed by the fast forward rewind buttons being on the front. Really quite clever. It uses, well, pushes the spools down to engage fast forward and rewind. It's quite a chunky deck, but yeah, this one came up on eBay. Main reason I went for it, it's sold as not working. The main reason I went for it is it does have the box and the original packaging. Would have liked it in red, but because that's just screams 80s. It's got the open button there, which is, there we go. And you can see it's one of these mechanisms where the actual transports comes up with a lid. So yeah, mixed feelings about that happening, but with this, like some of the later ones, the one of the pinch rollers would be always in contact with the capstan. Not the case with this, so that's really quite cool. Direction, play, stop, fast forward, rewind, graphic equalizer, of course, you have to have that. It's 80s. Dolby noise reduction. It takes all three different types of cassette as well, for what that's worth, and different modes. So you've got basic, sort of play one side, stop, turn it over, play the other side. Then you've got just loop, one side then the other, and then you've got just constant. So that's quite cool. Switch seems a little bit dodgy, but maybe not. So yeah, DC power in, 3 volts, which is center negative, which is always a fun one, catches you out. To put center positive in, and I'm sure things wouldn't go well. So you've got tuning control, volume control, direction indicators, headphone sockets, very much in keeping with Sony having green as the headphone socket colour. Border's not working. It's really lovely and clean. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this going and then use this as my daily driver, in inverted commas. I do listen to quite a lot of cassettes. I enjoy using a personal stereo come Walkman, and I've been using a Sony, I think it's an FX41. I'll hook it out in a minute. We'll have a look at that. And it's been absolutely faultless. It's a Tassie machine that I had. But, you know, it works well. It's a 90s Walkman, but it's not. It's just, it lacks the joy of this. So, like I say, border's not working. I suspect we are going to find those a bad belt in there. It really is very tidy. I mean, it's got lots of finger marks on it, but it's very tidy. No scratches as such. See a slight scratch there. Yeah, I have a belt from our good friends Deck Tech. Can't recommend these belts enough. I've bought a lot of belts from them. They do actually do just belts at a dimension then, rather than specifically for things, which are quite good for video recorders. They seem to be getting more and more into that as well, which is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, can't recommend Deck Tech highly enough. Well worth buying from them. Not sponsored or anything. I've just found them very, very good. So I suppose we better work out how we get in this. I've not looked at any tutorials. I've not got a manual for it. I've just spotted in there. That looks like tape speed in there. It's a fun place to put it because you'd have to power it from the mains or via an adapter to adjust it, because you won't be able to do it with batteries in. So yeah, I suppose let's try and take it apart. I'm seeing several silver screws, so I'm going to take those out and see what happens. I'm hoping this isn't a nightmare. Part of me, I don't know why I think this, thinks that I have to unsolder the board, or have to unsolder something. Oh. So far, those two screws are the same. Yeah, they all look the same. No, they're not. So the back one's chunkier. This looks like it might have been taken out before. This worries me. So front two are thinner, shorter screws. Back ones are thicker screws. Yeah, so we're going to have to be careful to make sure that all the switches are in the right position when we put this back together, because it does actually do I need to do anything? I don't think I need to take the front cover, the front lid off at all. I think it's just working out how this slides off. Maybe I need to remove this, which is fairly straightforward. Just pulls off. Oh, yeah, okay, that's done it. Yeah, the switches are going to be fun, aren't they? Okay, so we're in. Feels horrible doing that past that cord. That's fine. So far they're all the same. I mean, it's very clean, really clean, which is lovely to see. There's lots of these floating about, some of them going for silly money, and you just think, well, You know, when they look so tatty as well. I do actually wonder if I put this screw back in, the screw that feels wrong to take out because of what it is. I put the right coloured one in. So that lighter one went there. So I can just put out the whole thing in one go. And do I have to take these screws out? Because that's the motor. No, but I might have to take these out. So let's take these out. Oh, there's screws all up here as well. It sort of suggests you have to take the lid off. Unless... well, maybe that's what they want you to do. Okay, so I did get one screw out by just using just the bit itself and undoing it, but I just think let's try and do this properly. So I may well regret this. And then there's a corresponding screw this side. So that one, so this top screw is actually much longer than the screw in the bottom, so it's worth noting. Oh, I'm really nervous doing this, you know, it just doesn't feel right. It's not like Sony stuff. By any way, shape or form. I mean, the problem I have is that with this out, there's a spring and like all the loading. I don't know whether I want to do that. Well, that's enough for me to get all the screws, which I'm quite comprehensively mixing up. So that's a short screw. So that's a short, but not quite a short screw. All different screws. So this all lift off. Ooh, now. Could I have been attacking this completely the wrong way? No. I was just thinking, oh, maybe you change the belt from the top. But no. No, you don't. Gosh. Okay. So. Will this now come away? Oh, I've lost a spring. I don't know where that's come from. Yes, I do actually, I think. Oh. This is actually a little nut. So yeah, that allows you to take this off. Now, problem I have is how much. Oh, it gives you enough cable. I think to get in there. Yeah, it does. So basically I was fighting against a nut, and I think so there's a little washer in there as well that's gonna have to be very carefully looked out for. But I think I can put the rest of the oh, was a wire broken off? Yeah, wire's broken off. Oh, great. Oh, that cat. No, we're okay. Yeah, things look okay. It's just, gosh, where that blue wire went. I didn't have to do anything on the top. It's literally just that really annoying nut that I just couldn't see for the life of me. And there's a lug here as well. It needs to be pulled out. So you pull out the board from that side. Let's pull this back and it unclips. It is a Toshiba after all. Toshibas have a nasty habit of having very gooey belts at this sort of time. Things are looking clean. Very clean actually, except for the motor. Obviously, I can quite see that. Somebody's pressed play and basically it's just wound most of the belt around that motor. So yeah, that's quite cool in a not cool sort of way. So yeah, I'll clean that motor up and we'll crack on. Okay, so I actually recorded the last segment back in June 2023, so it's now end of December 2023, and also lost some footage, so you won't know that I actually bought a second deck. Now this was pre-mutilated. It was only 15 quid all in. I think it was like 15.99 or something. And you can see here the wire. There's a few actually. Wire from the aerial, the ferrites, and the tuning cord is broken. And what they've done is what I nearly did when I was taking this apart. The whole tuning section, including the ferrite bar, come off as one unit. And yes, I was struggling to sort of work out how this all came apart. I do now have a manual, which I managed to find online for free, which is great. And this actually does detail quite a lot of what's going on. The other thing I had, and I don't know, I thought it was far worse than it actually looks when I look in the bag, unless stuff's fallen out that little hole in the bottom there, which is not totally, yeah, you can see stuff's trying to fall out, the spring's falling out. But I had a spring drop out and that bit of plastic, and I have no idea where that goes yet. So I had a look at the exploded diagram in the back of the manual, and I really need to have a very good look at that, because that will give me the clue. The motor does not feel that special. The rubber has actually gone right underneath the pulley, and it's fouling the motor. So I'm quite tempted to take the motor off here and yeah, use that instead of the that one, because this seems fine. Oh, the belt doesn't seem that great on here, but you can see the how the belt goes. It is in the back of the manual as well, so that's fine. I thought they might have changed the belt. I mean, obviously someone's had a look. I mean, this is a thing. It does give people the incentive to have a go when they're seeing these devices going for such big money. This one was a complete mess. I mean, there's bits missing as well. So I was tempted to try and resurrect this, and that might still happen. Some of the fun things that have happened: we've got broken tab off the slider. So you see two sliders there. So this is broken off there. This has been desoldered and resoldered, which is fine, but yeah, it's been overheated. I've actually just taken off these wires here, which, and I did take a photo. The blue wire had broken off the motor from the motor anyway, but in the manual it does actually show you where those go quite clearly, so that's no biggie, which is great. Deck wise, everything is rotating nicely, everything is fine. The other problem, where that nut goes on, there underneath the board there's actually a loose washer, and on this one that has long since gone, so yeah, not ideal. The ribbon, incidentally, just in case you're wondering what that's for, that is actually for the head. So the head is actually connected to the other end of this. The cables are for the front door. And if you can hear lots of strange noises, it's because I'm working in an attic and we've got Storm Gerrit going through. And I tell you, it's one of the worst storms I've heard here anyway. 70-mile-an-hour winds, on the news 80-mile-an-hour winds, so yeah, it's been quite rough. Had some exciting lightning earlier as well, which was quite fun. So yeah, I think what I will do is take the motor out of this one, see how terrible a job that is to do. It shouldn't be too bad, and then we'll swap it over with this one. Out of interest as well, you can see the screws. I did mention about the screws, that this screw was quite a bit different. You can actually see why. It's creating the gap to allow the tuning section to go into the assembly and keep the door rigid at the same time. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I'm sort of hoping that this is literally these two screws. I don't even have to take off the top plate again. It'd be great if that's the case, and it looks very much as if it is. Well, that's turning because it's a bit of an odd angle. Free, so I should now be able to, yeah, you can see it's out, and there is tape, which is actually a little bit of a pain in the neck to free. He says actually finding that quite easy. Excellent. The other thing about changing the motor is that, like I say, the blue wire did break off, and I've trimmed it back a bit, but it does shorten it slightly, and it's not a huge issue, but it just makes it a little bit shorter soldering it onto the board and whatever. So yeah, but that's actually fine. This one, it's a shame because I love the red one. I would love a red one, but yeah, it's not going to happen. This one is actually, it's not bad, but it's seen a bit more life than the other one. But I might, I don't know, I might end up sort of swapping things out. And maybe make a red one, I don't know. But of course that won't really suit the box because I think the box says it's black. So anyway, let's have a go at this one. So I'm just very mindful of that ribbon cable. I don't know how tight these are. Not very. They don't need to be. He says, struggling to undo that one. Very shallow indeed. Okay, so we should be able to pull that back and pull the motor out. I was so lucky to find that red one. I mean, fair play to the seller. They said it was not working, not a happy deck. Yeah, this tape is proving to be a little bit more of a challenge. I don't know whether I can. Yeah, I can. Just pull the. This is where the fun begins. Okay, so no, wait to slip down. And you can actually, you can't, but I can see where the motor actually is. The plastic just fell off. Is that actually going in? Oh, that's it. So you can manipulate, because you've got this here, you can sort of turn it until you find where the threads go. No, I'm not convinced that's going in anywhere close to where it should. Slacken that off a bit. Oh, that's got it. It's actually, you actually have to push it in just a little bit, so there's a bit of a gap between the motor and the plastic assembly. So, oh, okay. Yeah, so I've got screws missing there and there. That's fine. So we have a good motor. And the little wash off that assembly there has just dropped off. You really want to keep that, because that does stop the board from floating about, which you do not want. I've put some post-it notes actually, just to try and reduce the strain on this ribbon cable. I'm not going to worry about doing anything about tidying that up. I'm hoping that it will be good enough just as it is. I'm sure it will be. It'll be fine. And the wire seems to have a bit of an attitude to go in the right direction. Anyway. Interesting that the on the other deck the spools have started falling out. So yeah, this has been well and truly played with. One thing I noticed with this deck though is that the pinch rollers look better. So we'll see. I sort of would like to replace the pinch rollers if I could. Just because I want this running as the best that I can make it. So, belt. So the last page of the manual, that is how it's supposed to run. So let's do that. Round there, under there, round there, up there. Job's a good one. I suppose I need to put this back together. Like I say, I'm a bit concerned about the spring. Right, yeah, so you've got a screw there. I mean, life is so much easier with the manual, but I have to say, I did work this out without it, which I'm quite pleased about, really. I mean, I spent so much time back in the day trying to do these things without the manual. And I have to say, if I'd had one of these into repair back in the day, the manual, I would have struggled. And would, well, to be fair, I wouldn't have been happy to do the repair. Where are we? So that's in. You can see those wires there that have got broken off on the other one. So the board is flush there. It's flush there. Is that washer on? Oh, I can't quite see that, but it is. That's good. Comes over, so the first winding goes over it, I think. Might have, yeah, it does. There's a ridge on the back there where the solder joint wire round the back, over the top to the front. Things keep falling off. Yeah, that's this is the door open mechanism, and I seem to remember this fell off before, even though I didn't show that on the video. That bit of sticky goes over here somewhere, and that's through there, which is great. That is in the right place, so this goes the other side of the plastic as well, and then it pokes through, pick up the battery. That's looking good. There's a bit of, I don't like the look of that. Oh no, it's fine. It's just sort of sticking out. So just be careful of these wires, because you do not want to catch those with the case or anything. In fact, I might end up putting a bit of tape across that, because it's just really vulnerable. I do want to use a radio. It's be really cool to be able to use a radio. Right, super. So I'll put the screws in and the nuts. So screws wise, don't take out this one, don't take out that one. They're holding on that plastic assembly. If you take those out, you risk breaking these wires. Doesn't need to be done. Screws wise, it's this one, this one, this one. I keep saying screws wise, don't I? And that nut, which really threw me taking it apart 6 months ago. Need to sort out the ejects. Need to find out where the strange bit of plastic and the spring go, and then I think we're somewhere close, aren't we? So I know I spent ages on this video at the beginning part, actually working out how this came apart, but I thought I'd just share just briefly how to take the board out. So you've got a screw here, and a screw here to take out, and those are all this type. So this one I've taken out from here. Then there's a screw on the top, and I think this is what catches people out. There, focus for me. So there, that screw there, and that screw is actually different. It's a self-tapper, much longer screw. So yeah, that's sort of the order they go. This top one you don't take out, this one you don't take out. If you do, you risk potentially causing all sorts of mayhem with the tuning section of the radio. This is all sort of integral, and of course it comes across to the actual tuning capacitor here. If you start messing about with that, it's probably going to end in tears. The problem I've got, though, is that we have another spring which has dropped out of this one, and I just don't know where this comes from. It's going to be a fun one getting this back together and working, I think, but we'll see. I'm quietly confident. What doesn't help is that all the manuals, I mean, it seems that this manual might have been stolen from the link I got it from. It's stolen from another site, and as a result, the parts list, you can see where it's sort of breaking through from the scan, but the parts list page is actually missing from all of them, which is a real pain, because that would actually give me at least an idea of the spring. But yeah, it's probably just going to describe it as a spring, isn't it? So yeah, I'll continue to put this back together. I've soldered these on now. I'm going to have to do something about this sticky pad, because it's just not sticking anymore. I'll probably do something crafty with that. And yeah, pretty pleased with it so far, I think, but we'll see. I mean, the thing is, will it work? So yeah, let's crack on. And I almost forgot the nut. Don't forget the nut. You must take this off as well, otherwise you'll be struggling. So I'm just going to remove this cover to check, well, to see where those springs go, because I think they both go under here somewhere. What's really cool about this, it's 4 screws to take out. I think they're all the same. Yeah, they're all the same, but you don't have to take the motor screws out. It looks like you do, but the cover is actually drilled in such a way that I don't have to loosen off the motor, which is really, really good. So I'm going to try and investigate where these springs go, and then we'll take it from there. So I've found the position for the spring. It actually goes in a little hole in the chassis, touching the motor, and it then touches the bottom of this metal plate, this metal cover. I guess just to sort of ground it. So taking this off, I did actually tell you wrong. It's actually 5 screws that you need to undo. So you don't need to undo the motor ones, and you also don't need to undo the cassette spring, this thing, because if you do, this will just flop about. It's just literally the screws here, 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 and here, and they're all the same. Yeah, just undo those. Be mindful of that spring falling out, because I thought it was a bit weird, because it's when I took that off I noticed the spring. So yeah, obviously got that wrong. So I have one more spring to find a home for. I'm wondering if that's going to be a similar sort of thing, but I don't know. I'll see as I go along. Let's crack on. Okay, so I didn't show it because my hand's in the way, but that other longer, sort of quite dense spring does actually go in there, pushes against a bit of plastic for the spring-loaded door opening closing mechanism. So I think we're somewhere near being able to put the back on this and giving it a try. So yeah, let's do that next. Okay, so I've got the back cover back on. After a bit of battling, I did actually work it out. Just notice I've got wires there that shouldn't be there. For the speed, that's obviously wrong. We'll look at that in a minute. What I did is I put all the switches on the board, so they're all at the very furthest this way, and then put all the sliders so they're the furthest that way, and put a bit of tape over just to hold them in place. Also did the same for the auto reverse. I think I've got that right, but we'll see. So yeah, this seems to work fine, although I won't know for sure until I get it back together. We'll get the screws in. See there, let's just clean that while I think about it. Tuning, headphone socket. So basically, to take this off, you're doing it from the motor side and lifting up that way. To put it back on, locate these as best you can into the cabinet and then push it down, just sort of pushing the battery terminal. I did put some insulation tape in the end over there. I just wanted all of those wires protected when I push this down, and that could be why they've just slid down there, so I might end up having to just lift this up again. There we go. That seems okay. So I'll get these screws in, which could be fun, because I can't remember how they came out, but I'll work it out, and I suppose give it a try. Well, this certainly has been challenging, I've got to give it that. I had a feeling it was going to be, but I didn't quite realise just how involved this was going to be. Take it steady, you're okay. Don't leave it 6 months between taking it apart and putting it back together. That's gone in perfectly. Yeah, so that's opening. Yes, not sure about this one. Find myself putting that tape back on. Well, it's clicking and it's not falling out, so I assume that's probably okay. I'll put that tape back on just for now. See if it's these screws. Doesn't seem to be. Seems to be that screw, smaller one. Now it looks like I've got one black screw left over, but that's from the other deck. I do have one small screw there, which again I think might be from the other deck, but this is a problem now because I've muddled up the screws. I don't know what goes where. Okay, so I do have a bit of an issue. In each of these there is a little nut, and that appears to have gone on both sides, which is a real problem because I don't ever recollect even seeing any nuts. They probably were there, but I think with everything else I just missed that, missed their existence, to be honest. Okay, so I think I'm about ready to give this a try. I've got my Sennheisers. I have cleaned it up. I have cleaned the pinch rollers, not that they look fantastic, but I think they'll be okay. So let's close this up. These screws, I'm going to get some replacement screws and nuts. I think M1.64mm should do the trick. They're down in the manual as 1.7 by 4mm. I have no idea where those little nuts went, no idea at all. I don't remember seeing them from start to finish, to be honest, but well, yeah, that's the way it goes, I suppose. So somewhere I've got some batteries. So I'll probably take this off now. radio. It's probably picking up a lot of noise from everything. I've got LED light right by it, and computer and phone and camera and all the rest of it. Okay, so that's sort of working. So let's put a cassette in. Let's put that over to tape. Graph equalizer works. Fast forward. Rewind. Rewind does not seem happy. Okay. God, it's so loud. Well, that's working. Dolby in, out. So no doubt I'm probably going to have to do a bit more work on it. It doesn't seem quite right. Rewind yeah, isn't great. But it worked. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So why is that doing that? Because this should press on. Oh, that seems to work. But, oh, I don't know. Just seems like this cap is not properly on. Let's just try. Can I put the? I can't. Can I? I can't put cassette in without the door being shut. Well, let's try it again. Oh, this spool seems to be causing problems. Yeah, isn't it? Oh dear. It's got a split in it. Okay, so yeah, it definitely got a split in it. Taken one off the other deck, which hopefully should be okay. It might end up I have to put some sort of glue on, but I'd rather not. So, large spring goes under the grey section underneath. Small spring, oh gosh, sits on top of the grey and under the spool, and then this just presses on, and it's actually on a bit of a hex. So I'm not using the cassette anymore. That spool is still not right. It's way too high. I think if I take the battery, oh actually let's put it on radio. So So I don't think I've pressed this down properly. Open it up again. Oh, that's what the problem's going to be. Okay, I think what I shall do is I'll use a tiny bit of glue that never actually fully hardens. So let's put this back on there. Some what is it? E8000, and press that on, and then maybe things will stop exploding quite such a crazy way. I've probably lost that spring now, haven't I? It's flown off into oblivion. Okay, so I'll get and do that, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I got the spool top locks muddled, and I put the split one back on. So that's why that wasn't working. So I have put the tiniest amount of E3000, just used the pointed end of some tweezers, just to put the tiniest amount in there, just to keep it secure if it does crack. I suppose that's just one of those things. But gosh, I mean, if I didn't have a spare unit, I would be well and truly stuck. I'm just so lucky to have that other unit. And I sort of desire to get the other one going. I think as that ship has long since sailed. But yeah, at least I've ordered these screws now. They'll be silver, but that'll be fine. So yeah, I'm going to let that dry. The spools do look so much better now. I mean, they're flush now, which they weren't before. This one was well and truly riding high. I will say this one looks quite high. Having said that, oh, of course, it's depressed, so yeah, that's where they should be. I was going to say it looked a bit wrong, but yeah, I'll let that dry and then we'll give it another try. Right, let's try again. Let's try play first. Let's put it to... So that's fine. Rewind still doesn't seem to want to work. Wind is fine. Oh, yeah, it's trying to. It's very slowly turning. It's not great, but I'm sort of tempted to live with that, to be honest. So I think I'm happy with that. It's for me. If I was doing it as a repair, I'd be taking it all apart, trying to work out why rewind is still a little bit... Oh, if I press it down, it goes. So, oh, there we go. So I think I've still got a bit of a problem with how that spool is fixed, but that's fine. I'm happy. It's just like I can't do any more. I've spent so much time on this. So in conclusion, would I recommend one of these? Probably not, unless you're really used to working on these, which, to be fair, I'm not. I've not done a huge amount of personal stereos, Walkmans, so I'm sort of quite enjoying having a little play. And like I say, it's a bit of a dream machine for me. But yeah, if you're not used to working on these, then I would I would steer clear, I think. Let's put the back cover on. There we go, so the belt clip's on now. Yeah, so things to watch out for. Taking the case off. When you take these two screws out, that's fine, but these two, they have captive nuts just behind and they'll fall out. But so there is that. In the manual, it does say about lifting the board, and it does miss out. It says about the 3 screws, they're all the same. So 3 screws, 1.7 millimeter or M1.7 by 6 millimeters length, and then there's that screw on the top, which is also 1.7 diameter, but that's 9 millimeters, like self-tapping. But there is also that nut, which is somewhere here, and you must remember to take that nut off, because if you don't, you're going to start wondering if you need to take off the other screws. So yeah, just be very wary about that, because if you undo that radio mechanism, tuning mechanism, chances are the string will come adrift, and that's a bit of a pain to put right. The crack on the spool as well, on the spool retainer, that was a real pain. Like I say, I couldn't have done this without having a scrap deck, and to be honest, I think you have to factor that in. If you really want one of these, you have to factor in getting a scrap deck. No doubt they're going to start going for huge amounts of money as these machines get rarer and rarer, and I don't know, it's all a bit crazy really how expensive some of this kit is. No idea about these screws. I don't think they're actually for this. I think they're actually for a calculator, so I think I just put them in there for safekeeping. So with that, I hope you enjoyed it. It really was quite a battle. I wouldn't say I 100% enjoyed it. You know, I found it quite stressful at times just because of the way it's put together. It's almost like it's put together to, you know, doom you to failure. But yeah, it's a lovely deck. I mean, it looks great, and I'm going to really enjoy using it. I will finish giving it a jolly good clean and a polish, and yeah, I'll probably be using that New Year's Eve, to be honest. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe as well, would be fantastic. And hopefully I will catch up with you in another video. Bye for now.